All right, guys, Coach Chad back again. And now we're putting it all together. We've discussed the pull-up, we've discussed the ring dip. Now we just have to discuss the transition, okay? So really quickly, before I do the whole movement, we want to just reiterate that position in your muscle or in your pull-up, where you were nice and tight, and we use that example of tearing our t-shirt off like Hulk Hogan in the WWE or WWF, okay? So we keep these hands as close to the midline as possible, and we rotate through into the deepest dip possible. Okay. Now, when you're first practicing this, a lot of people are strong enough to do a muscle up on the ring thing where they just pull straight through to the top of the dip. I want you to try and separate this. Make it into two distinct positions and two distinct movements. Think of it as a pull-up, a transition, and then the dip, okay? And this will just be easier from a standpoint of having a carryover to the real one on the big rings, or on the non-assisted rings, and also I think it's better from a perspective of the actual muscle activation of how this works, as well as gaining range of motion and function around the shoulder as well, okay? So what you can kind of play around with is maybe just doing some transition standing, where you're just transitioning into the ring. Now this will assume that you're tall enough and the rings are set up in this position to do it, okay? So elbows close, rotate into the dip. Draw the line back through, because you're not only going to do the concentric, you're also going to be training the eccentric in this position. So I think about my thumbs being out and just drawing a line around my pecs while I'm coming through, okay? And you can practice at different speeds, slow-mo, different tempos, okay? So the very first one, we're going to go back down here, we're going to turn out, we're going to pull into the top of our dip, we're going to rotate through, and then to the top of our dip. I think I said dip earlier, but I meant pull up, okay? Now a slow lower all the way to the bottom of the ring dip. Now try and control this as much as possible. Draw that line around the pecs one more time, all the way into the bottom of the dip, or the pull up. Geez, I'm getting this all twisted up, okay? So pull close to the midline, turn through, pause, and press. And just so we have a visual of what I meant from the first one, you'll see people do this kind of stuff. Pull. Now I'm strong enough to do that with this assistance of the ring thing, but that's not carrying over any motor control or building an engram patterning of this movement. That's why I want this isolated out from a pull-up, a transition, and a dip. And then when you start playing with this, if it's easy for you, then all you have to do is start adding repetitions to it. Go ahead and try and do a set of 5, 6, 7, 8 muscle ups under control with an appropriate controlled tempo. Or maybe just do segments and positions of it. Do a pull-up, a transition, through a transition, up to a dip, okay? And then the combinations are somewhat infinite here on how you can play with this. So you're here, pull, transition, back through the transition, transition, dip, down, quarter dip, through, transition, down to the pull up, 1 1/4 pull up with the transition, okay? I think you get the point. There's a lot of variation that you can use here to make the ring training fun, enjoyable, but also challenge the sticky points, the difficult points inside of the ring muscle up, okay? You guys play this, have some fun with this, guys. Enjoy, and I'll leave it there. Thanks a lot, team. Appreciate it.